Let's go to domestic news now. Our political editor Chris Yillman joins me from Canberra. Chris, hostilities resumed in the Parliament today.
They certainly did, Lee, and two issues consumed question time: the carbon tax and the riots at Christmas Island's detention centre. In some ways, the coalition probably felt a bit spoilt for choice on which to attack first, but it's settled on the carbon tax given it's been such a diabolical problem for Labor. Perhaps ministers should take a leaf out of Liberal Dennis Jensen's book. He proved today that when explaining difficult concepts, it helps if you have some props.
Does anyone know what that is? Charcoal, also known as carbon. If you notice, when I let it go, it doesn't float into the air. All of those little bubbles there, it's the same stuff that you breathe out. This government has managed to actually tax the air that we breathe.
It went longer, but you get the drift. The short story is that carbon is naturally occurring, which is a reasonable enough point, but it plays straight into Labor's attack on the opposition leader.
He is lying through his back teeth in relation to climate change. When he's on with the shock jocks, he's a climate change denier, and yet when he's talking to the general public, he says that climate change is real.
Hello.
The Prime Minister has had a rough few weeks, accused of lying after breaking an election pledge not to impose a carbon tax. So Labor's decided to return fire.
He needs to start being honest, he needs to stop lying to the Australian people, and he needs to man up and actually declare his position on climate change.
The line the opposition really wanted to push today was that using money raised from a carbon tax to recast the tax and welfare system is building a money-go-round that won't save the planet.
You're robbing Peter to pay Peter, robbing Paul to pay Paul, and that in anybody's mind doesn't make sense.
The Labor Party are telling you, they're trying to spin you this yarn again, that somehow ripping money out of you, marching it around a bureaucracy, and then handing you back some of your own money is a good thing. Well, it's not.
A tax cut to compensate for a tax increase is not a cut, it's a con.
There was a brief, uncomfortable ceasefire as the Prime Minister and opposition leader went to the Japanese embassy to sign a condolence book. Back in the chamber, normal service was quickly resumed.
How does she propose to compensate first home buyers in Western Sydney, for instance, for this $6,000 plus increase in the cost of housing?
Well, what we see, of course, is taking $30 billion out of the purses and wallets of Australians and giving it to big polluters.
Barring the unforeseen, this is the pivotal battleground of the year. Carbon pricing has already killed two opposition leaders and a Prime Minister. So both Julia Gillard and Tony Abbott know the price of failure in this toxic debate. It could undo either or both of them.